'Tis another week as we welcome you in to Three Guys Before the Game, the state of West Virginia's most listened to, downloaded podcast.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is. On sports, I don't, I'm not in everything, because there's some dudes that do. I forget what it was. There's some guys that do some stuff like video game stuff that I think it's huge. But sports-wise, we're strong. Strong. Oh, strong. Got an interesting title today. Our creative team that puts these together said go with Storm, Mayo, Brawl. Put those three together.
There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. We got the recap of St. John's. We've got the invitation to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And we have the Backyard Brawl basketball coming up on Wednesday. We're going to get into all of those things, plus a few others. Three Guys Before the Game, brought to us by Go-Mart. Go for good times. Go for Go-Mart. More on the folks at Go-Mart coming up in just a little bit. But get that rewards card so you can save money on fuel and food. Three Guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems. What do? They have kept West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. So if you're a business owner and you want your data to be safe, secure, and operate like a beautiful, just piece of humming machinery, it's Comax Business Systems. More on those folks later. Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They got one of the great gigs because all they do is sell family fun. If you're looking for fun, they got it. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Or if you're in the area or making the drive into St. Albans, home of the Red Dragons, you can go to Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They've been at it since 1985. That's a run. I mean, that is a run right there. And they currently have a Three Guys special on that Tri-Tune boat that is just, whew. I mean, it's just doggone purty is what it is. Take a look at that bad boy. That's the 2023 Avalon 2385 Entertainer. Top of the line. Got the whole thing. Whatever you want to do in the water, you can do it with that. Right now, the Three Guys special price, $89,774. Got a Honda 150 plus the trailer. Make a lot of noise. Make a lot of music.
Might be hard to fit that under the tree, but I bet you could just leave it there, put a big red bow on it. Go down and check on it in the Christmas morning.
Yeah, Hoppy, you've been doing a bunch of stories on that 65-foot tree that they grew here and then they brought it to D.C. Would that fit? How would that, if you put the 65-footer, put the pontoon underneath that?
Probably look good under there.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, I
Pretty
think
good.
you could fit it
It's
under
red.
there.
Red with the green on the tree.
Yeah. Big green bow on that.
Yeah. So you can wrap it if you want. I'm sure the folks at Lou Wendell, you buy that bad boy, they'll wrap it any way you want. Take care of it for you. Three Guys is also brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide value beyond the numbers. You got a bunch of different numbers then, right? You got basketball, preview pit, and post-game Red Storm?
Check.
You don't have anything in North Carolina.
Well, I might just have a little bit. Got to do a little bit today.
Cool.
Still have 20 days to preview the matchup, so we've got some
We got to start today.
But I've got a couple things, yes.
Did you know that when the game is played on the 27th of December, it will be the 15-year anniversary of West Virginia, North Carolina, Pat White in that bowl game?
Yeah. That was Meineke Car Care Bowl at that time.
Right. And Rich had Pat run it 1,700 consecutive times.
And Akeem Jeffries caught the ball behind his back. Was that?
No, that was Stu. You're conflating two Pat White deals.
No.
You're right, that was Stu.
Was it Stu?
You're right, that was Stu. 'Cause
Meineke
that was Pat Lazier, number 31, interception, far side right.
And Pat White threw for like 3 bills plus.
Threw for 350, 3 touchdowns, ran for about 50.
Also, not to be forgotten in that, George Foreman visited us in the radio booth.
He did. I didn't remember that part of it. But
I remember that.
Rich made
Foreman.
Pat run 200 times in a row against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
After the Calvin Johnson, all right? That was that game, correct? That was that game. Yeah. And Keith Tandy was grabbing around the ankle, couldn't get him down. That was that game. You're
what
saying
was the
no on
Hakeem
that?
Jeffries show? What was the Hakeem
that was
Jeffries?
Gator. That was a Gator Bowl.
That was a Gator Bowl.
Yeah.
That was a Gator Bowl.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I am?
Yeah.
It was also, though, that the bowl game against the Mothership, Virginia,
that was Rich's first bowl game, and that was when
Continental Tire.
Continental
at that point.
Tire. That's when the Virginia band.
That was the end of it for them.
Well, yeah. Yep.
Is that where we're going to start?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, no, I mean,
Are we going to go in chronological
so
order of how
basically,
things
what
happen?
you're asking me is, do we go St. John's first and hold the Mayo, or do we go, right into? So what?
You're so giddy you got to say that. That is an absolute perfect joke for you. You are giddy. You got to just use that.
And I tell you, because you used it, and it was
Hakeem Nicks is the receiver, right? What'd you call him?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, it was Hakeem
Hakeem
Nicks.
Nicks caught it behind his back,
That's why I kept saying
far sideline.
Yeah, jeez.
Caught it behind his back. So
Interestingly, I wouldn't have remembered this. Do you know who was on the play-by-play call for that one?
which game?
The Meineke Car Care Bowl that West Virginia won?
Who was it? Was it Sean? Did Sean do the game?
He did.
I don't think he'll be doing this year's. Wonderful game. Big bowl. Certainly like my condiments, and Mayo certainly would be one of them.
That was fun. That was a fun bowl. That, we often use that example. Sorry, I jumped you. I'll just say this one thing, then I'll cede the floor to you. That's a bowl I often reference when people want to get out there and hammer bowls and don't like bowls, and they don't like it, and it's not fun, and there's no benefit, and there's too many. And I'll give my standard disclaimer. I'll give it all through bowl season. I realize I'm on the far end of the spectrum. I love them. I can't get enough of them. Hoppy, we work a bunch of them. I understand that, but I wait all year for football. So if you can give me more football and more games, I'm in. But that's one I always point to as that was an off-the-radar bowl. Normally, you wouldn't have thought anything of that. That was a fun game, a great matchup. That locker room was giddy to have won that game.
No question.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Just Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader of the House of Representatives.
Well,
your words are flat.
Sometimes things mold together. You just did 2 hours of that stuff.
Jeez. Man.
Okay, go ahead. What are we talking about?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
What are we doing?
I need to
Are we
rebound
holding the
here.
Mayo?
Hold the Mayo. Well done on your part, so we should follow your lead because that was a good play on your part.
Let's do it chronologically, and let's hold the Mayo for now. And let's jump into Friday night's date against the Red Storm of St. John's, the Big East, the Big 12 battle. Did not get the result. Oh, heck, we haven't even mentioned yet about soccer.
Huh.
Only going to have a chance to play for the World Championship.
Had the coach on this morning.
Excuse me?
Had the coach on this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wasn't that good? How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing extremely well. He's in the Final Four.
What do you say about injuries? Did you talk to him about that?
Oh, I didn't. Guess I missed the boat on that.
What did you talk to him about, like geopolitical spectrum and climate
just
change, or
that.
what did you talk to him about?
They got behind, 1-0.
Oh, I know. I was there.
Well, then you talk about it. You were there. I mean, they got behind, but then, rallied and won 3-1. And he said when he came here 4 years ago that he did not think that going to the Final Four was out of the question. That was
right.
He thought it was achievable, and they've recruited internationally. And, now you're in the Final Four, man. Win the thing.
Did he thank you for hiring him?
No, we didn't. That didn't come up. But he was very...
You know what I was thinking of doing, Senator? Go find that episode. We need to find out when he was hired.
Yeah.
And we'll find that episode because it was a Thursday or a Friday show when our boy leaves the set on his phone, cutting the deal to get Stratford hired here.
You should see the buyout on that I got for him.
Yeah, I bet you did. I was telling him earlier, I went and
paid the entire contract.
I went and where I watch from, I watch at the fence behind the visiting team's bench area. So when they scored that first goal, a minute 54 in, they were jacked on that sideline.
Loyola Marymount was.
Yeah, they were absolutely, and I went like, oh no, don't tell me this is one of those Mountaineer moments where you get to the top you put your hand on the top of the absolute pinnacle, and then all of a sudden someone kicks your hand down.
Here's what Stratford said, that Loyola Marymount
Lions.
The Lions came out and did something they had not done all season, because they tend to be more of a defensive team, and they went immediately aggressive.
Yeah, they did.
And took West Virginia a little bit by surprise, but West Virginia kept their cool, right? It was early. If you're going to give up a goal, give it up early.
Yep.
And came back and, won. So
they attacked the flank is what they did. Now, my soccer knowledge is limited, but they aggressively attacked offensively, and less than 2 minutes in, they get a goal. Almost had one before that.
Now they're going to Louisville.
Yeah, they are.
It's pretty huge.
Yeah,
it is huge.
Real huge. Amazing when you think about it. You got Marshall and West Virginia, both literally contending. Marshall won obviously when it did, and they're still in the mix this year. It's pretty amazing.
And Marshall's out.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, just to have two schools from the same state within a window of 2, 3, 4 years that are legitimate contenders.
West
for the
Virginia, Tony, as you know, is the center of soccer, of collegiate soccer in America right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's fantastic. All right, anyway, so Friday's basketball contest, Red Storm and St. John, 71-year-old Rick Pitino in attendance. And be interested to see what happens with those dudes. Be real interested to see what happens with those dudes. I know they're going to gel. I know they're going to get better. West Virginia's one player away from winning that game.
No doubt.
Kirk Carissa plays in that game on Friday. You beat those guys.
It was there.
It was there.
You have Kirk Carissa against Virginia. You win that game.
Also agree.
I'm giving a ton of credit to this Mountaineer basketball team and this coaching staff at this point, because they are putting together game plans that puts them into position to win games. Obviously, we know what happened against Virginia. It was right there for the taking. And then you are down 2 with 2 minutes to go in this game on Friday. You have a really bad turnover. They go up 4. It makes it hard. But the whole game plan for West Virginia was to do something out of the ordinary. And it was hard to do, and it was hard to watch, because they were draining the clock on offense so they wouldn't get into a track meet with St. John's, because they did get into a track meet with SMU, and it didn't work well. So to their credit, they made that game the way that it needed to be, but it was ugly to watch.
Tony, it's unfortunate because it was there, and that would have been a quality win over a team that's probably going to be okay. Like you said, when St. John's gets it together, number one. Number two is that, once again, you just, Brad, how much have we talked about with teams? You just don't have much margin for them. You just don't have much margin. And Jesse Edwards gets a little foul trouble, so then, that's a problem for you. And then when he's out of there, Soriano he had a big game. But also, I think the officials are still hoarse from blowing the whistle. West Virginia had a chance, though, with the free throws. They shot 88%, had a great whistle, shot 88% in the first half, second half shot 61%. I did the math. If you shot 80% in the second half on free throws, it would have been a 1-point game, because you went to the line in the second half 26 times and made 16. If you made 21 of 26, you'd have been a 1-point game. So they had chances at the free throw line.
Yeah, there were a couple things we talked about on Friday, or when did we do this show? Thursday. So we talked about Soriano. He ended up being very good. Talked about that matchup with Edwards. Said St. John's won't shoot many free throws. That's not what they did. They shot more than they normally do with 20, but you just had a massive advantage, plus 17 points at the line. So, yeah, you needed to make a few more in the second half to try and get over the hump, but that's also why you were in that game so long, is because you shot so well and so many different. You went to the line 23 more times than they did. So that was what kept West Virginia in the game. The other thing we talked about in the scouting report, we said St. John's is as good an offensive rebounding team as there is in the country.
Yeah, that worked.
They were, again, plus they had 18 offensive rebounds. Now, West Virginia had 15, so you didn't get blown out in that category, but second chance points for St. John's were massive. And
26 to 12.
Yeah, it's a difference.
Plus 14.
It's moved St. John's into the second best offensive rebounding team in the country as we sit there today. So That was it. And I think you said it well. This staff, a lot of credit, and credit to these players that are that are outmanned in terms of numbers and having to go with such a little bench to stay in there and fight and battle like they have. Give them a ton of credit. It just would have been nice for them in at least one of these two games. Virginia or St. John's, you're right there. Could have had both. Would have liked to see them get at least one.
Yeah. So now the thing is you just have to hang together because we're down to 2 more games with this 9-game suspension for Kirk Harisa. He'll return a week from this coming Saturday when WVU plays against Massachusetts in Springfield, but you're going to be without him again Wednesday against an improved Pitt team, significantly improved from where we have seen them in the last 2 seasons. And then on Saturday, you take on a Drexel team that, oh, by the way, just beat number 18 Villanova in Philadelphia on Saturday. They had a Big 5 extravaganza there at Wells Fargo. You know, back in the old days, they'd play a triple header at the Palestra. 3 games, 6 teams, obviously. And they did the whole thing. Back in the old days, remember at the Palestra, the first basket scored in the game, they'd throw streamers onto the floor?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, they did that at the Wells Fargo on Saturday. They had a 3-game deal. It was a big to-do. And Drexel beats Villanova. Made 8 threes. Now they got a rough week. They play against Princeton tomorrow. Princeton's really good. Mm-hmm. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come in with a Tuesday game, and then they're off for a couple. They'll come in here. So that'll be a big to-do. And obviously, it's going to be a really intriguing game because the head coach of Drexel is a friend of this podcast. Has been a guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
Morgantown native Zach Spiker.
Former intern
here. Another one that Hoppy chased out of the business.
I think he's doing okay.
They're doing fine.
They're doing a good job. Don't look past that team. The thing that will help West Virginia in that is the pace. The Dragons are slow as well. They don't push up tempo, but you're going to have to be ultra efficient if you're West Virginia. And so far, that's been a challenge offensively. The Dragons have moved into 3rd nationally in effective field goal defense. So they're going to guard you. They're going to make it difficult. That game, you're not going to get many possessions, so you've got to find a way to score when you do get those possessions.
All right, let's jump in here on the Pitt Panthers.
You want to hit the music?
Oh, jeez.
What?
I forgot. I got to get my boys' music.
It's actually music related here. This is a segment.
You know, I'm doing
deep stats on Pitt.
We've just been overall talking in general right here. Now we're going to get into some stuff. Yeah, you want the scouting report, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, hang on one second.
It's coming. I mean, you want to find out where Pitt likes to shoot it from, right?
Yeah, I want all that.
Yeah, okay.
Hoppy, are you going to the – oh, yeah.
I did see that the first NCAA net rankings are out.
Mm-hmm.
You probably saw those.
Did.
Pitt comes in at number 60,
mm-hmm.
West Virginia at 209.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
and I also looked, Brad, while I was doing that, I looked at the – now, it's early.
It's way early.
Way early, okay. But I looked at those net rankings for several of West Virginia's opponents going forward. Houston.
Yeah.
1.
Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
Surprise, Houston won. Go ahead and give number 2. I think that will surprise fans. Excuse me?
BYU.
Now Big 12 member BYU.
BYU is 2.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor is 6.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State's 13. Cincinnati's 14. Oklahoma is 19. I mean, Kansas is 16. And again, that's way early. But boy, this league schedule, Tony, is
not early. It's not early because the last several years when we've done really, really well in the net rankings, that's where we are. That's where we were starting.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah,
you're not going to get any nights off.
We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Ready? 5, 4.
Time for Spreads on Stats, brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. I mean, they're unbelievable. Stuff that they do. Tax season, they laugh at deadlines. They say, like, here, I got your deadline. Bring that baby over here. I got it.
They want the ball late in the shot clock?
Yeah. They say, like, we're not worried about no deadlines.
Outsource your CFO responsibilities if you'd like to. Need some help in that category.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the whole deal Technology's now allowed you can remote in and have a CFO off property, but right on top of everything you do each and every day. They can outsource your accounting, your CFO services, and a whole lot more. Businesses of all sizes able to free up their time to do their business, take away the stress of hiring. Do I have the right CFO? Do I not have the right CFO? Visit the Conley CPA Group. Confidence, Hoppy, is having continuity.
Yes.
From their team of experts. They got it. They do it every day. Posted that bad boy. What you got?
All right, let's dive into Pitt. Glasses on, Hoppy. We're getting serious.
Go.
All right, first and foremost, Pitt comes in here having lost 2 games in a row to Missouri, as some say, and Clemson. They've actually lost. They've played 4 consecutive games against what we'd consider Power 5 or Power 6 when it comes to basketball conferences. They've lost 3 of those 4. They went down to Florida, beat Oregon State, lost to Missouri, and lost to Clemson. Their wins over North Carolina A&T, Binghamton, Florida Gulf Coast, Jacksonville, and that Oregon State team I mentioned. So their best win is over 178 in the Ken Palm rankings, Oregon State. The rest of them are north of 243 in those rankings. So against their better teams, they've been challenged a little bit. Here's what they do. Don't force many turnovers, 287th nationally, so that'll be good for West Virginia's offense. Should be able to get into your sets on the offensive end without having to worry about too many forced turnovers. Pitt is very good on the glass. Hoppy, watch this one.
Yep.
25th in offensive rebounding, but 5th in defensive rebounding. So that's going to be hard for West Virginia to get those second chance points. Where can it score? Be efficient on offense, get back to getting some free throws, but the second chance points on the offensive glass may be tough against this Pitt team. Pitt's in the top 3% nationally when it comes to their offense getting second chance points. Their defense or their opponents in the bottom 3% in that category.
Wait, get that again. What'd you say?
Pitt's in the top 3% when it comes to second chance points. So much like we just said that was a key for St. John's getting the win, that's going to be a key for Pitt as well. You've got to try and keep them off the glass and don't allow them to offensive rebound and put it back in. Pitt's opponents are in the bottom 3% on second chance points. So offensive glass both ways is probably going to determine this game. Pitt gets to the free throw line pretty well, 44th nationally. Oregon State's about the only team that's been able to get to the line a bunch on them. As we've said over the years with West Virginia, and it's continued this year, free throw attempt rate has been a big factor. When West Virginia struggled a bit offensively, it's been able to get to the line and score some points there. So watch that. West Virginia is 8th nationally, Hoppy, 8th nationally in percentage of points that have come from free throws. So West Virginia needs to get to the free throw line to have a shot in these games and keep its offense in it. Now let's really get in the weeds. Pitt on the offensive end. They like to get to the rim and shoot threes, kind of modern basketball. Rim and 3 rates very big. Nearly 1/3 of their shots come at the rim. They're above the national average in percentage of threes from each of the 5 spots behind the 3-point arc. So they'll shoot it from all over. Their best spot is the right corner, shooting 50% from the right corner 3 spot. So West Virginia's going to have to keep an eye on that. West Virginia has guarded the rim well, as you would expect, with Jesse Edwards in there. So that's a Pitt team that wants to get there against the rim, against a West Virginia team that defends it pretty well. That probably will help determine the game. Which of those 2 things holds true? Can Pitt score at the rim, or will West Virginia be able to keep them out? Watch that coming up on Wednesday.
Good stats.
I'll give you another one. Teams have not shot it well. That right corner spot that Pitt's very good at, teams are shooting just 25% against West Virginia from that spot. So watch the rim, watch the right corner, see where that goes. You want a West Virginia offense?
Sure, you got the glasses on. Go ahead.
All right, might as well keep rolling. Okay, defensively for Pitt, they give up points at the rim. Opponents are shooting 66% in those situations. They also give up the right elbow mid-range jumper inside the 3, just outside the right elbow, and they also give up right corner 3. So they like to shoot them. They also give them up. Here's the downside. Unfortunately, none of those zones match where West Virginia likes to shoot or has success from. The closest is the right corner. West Virginia is shooting 35% from that right corner spot, which is about right on the national average.
Where does West Virginia shoot well from?
Basket. Under the basket.
Well, they do shoot well at the rim. All right, here we go. Hold on. It's loading. What do you want to know? Where they shoot it well from?
Yeah, where is West Virginia's hot spot? Where do they shoot the most effectively?
Well, it's left wing threes are pretty good. Over 33%. They're slightly above a national average. They're about 34% from there. They'll give you a little left baseline from 2. They haven't shot many of those, though. Just 8 attempts from there. It's only 2% of their shots.
Okay.
That's about it.
Jesse Edwards played Pitt twice last year when he was a member of Syracuse. When he met them the first time, he went 8 points, 9 rebounds. Didn't take a ton of shots, 4 out of 8. When he met them at Pitt, he went up and got 17 and 7 and didn't shoot well from the foul line. He was 5 of 11 from the free throw line and 5 of 11 from the field. So 2 games last year, he averages 12.5 and 8 rebounds in 2 games.
Pace is important here. In 2 of Pitt's 3 losses to Missouri, they only scored 6 points in transition, and against Florida, only 7. Those are 2 games where they've been held in single digits in transition. So if West Virginia can control that pace and keep them from getting out and running, you like West Virginia to hang around in this one a little bit.
So you say put the brake on again?
I think they're going to have to. Listen, I think you're going to see that until you get a couple bodies back for West Virginia. Then maybe you can pick your spots and run a little bit. But I think until then, you're going to want to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
So what's the line going to be? Based on Ken Palm, what do you think it goes?
Pitt probably favored by a couple.
That's what I was thinking. 2-3?
Mm-hmm. Probably right in that range.
Yeah. Yep. Be a great one to get. Weird start time, Hoppy.
9 p.m.
You'll have your warm milk and you'll be under your covers. You put a quarter teaspoon of sugar in there. You mix it up and night time for Hoppy.
By the way, was talking with the director of athletics Friday, and they are still pursuing the Raekwon Battle situation. We know that Rocky Gianola, Morgantown attorney, is representing Raekwon and is trying to see if they can do something legally on that front. And that, I forget the terminology, but maybe you know, but Ren Baker said they're going to, it's not apply for they're taking another step to try to get the NCAA to take another look at it, saying there are extenuating circumstances which the NCAA did not consider. So WV is going to the mats for battle.
Yeah, and when we've seen a couple of these go on get a turn of decision, that's what has happened. So what the heck is the words? RE something. You know what? Anyway, it was a re.
It's another avenue to pursue to try to get him eligible.
And you also have the a cook situation, and there could be movement there. So we'll see one way or the other where that is going to resolve.
And after this week, Kirk Reese is back, so he won't be available for Pitt, won't be available for Drexel. Then he comes back off the suspension list, and will obviously help tremendously when he returns.
Yeah. 3 guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems. You know, when that time comes when your phone system within your business just ain't getting it done anymore, and I mean ain't getting it done anymore, well, in that case, contact the folks at Comax Business Systems. They have every different possible way that you can utilize a phone system. When I'm talking about the technology of it, you can purchase, lease, rent from one phone line to 1,000. They will take care of your phone service needs. And with the technology and the improvement today, it's for your folks that work for you. I mean, it's almost like they're constantly right there, moment to moment, each and every day, whether they're physically there or not. Competitively priced, efficient, ultimately save you money. Call Comax Business Systems. They'll give you a free price quote, let you know where you are.
Tony, it's called a request for reconsideration.
Reconsideration was the word, the old reconsideration.
And what Baker said on my coffee clutch, we intend to do that. Raekwon's attorney probably has other things he's doing as well. We're making sure we are communicating just so everyone knows what each other is doing. I expect in the next day or two we will submit a request for reconsideration. I'm hoping the young man gets a chance to play. He's a wonderful person. He's been through a lot. So there is another avenue that WVU can pursue, and they are pursuing it. He said in the next day or two, that was on Friday, so Thursday or Friday. So the request for reconsideration would be out there.
No later than Wednesday of this week, I think, is when they'll hear back and say, yes, we'll reconsider, which I think they will get a reconsideration. And then
you think so?
I think they'll get a reconsideration.
But that doesn't mean that's just they're going to look at it again. That doesn't mean you're likely to get approved necessarily.
Doesn't, one way or the other, just said, okay, we'll reconsider. If you think you have something that we don't know that you can offer to this again, let you do that.
Who was it? Maybe you. I forget who tells me these things, but that there might be a national Native American organization that is getting involved, that wants to get involved as well. Maybe Ren said that.
I don't know where you got it, but I think that's very likely. I think it's caught their attention.
Yeah.
I saw the NCAA sent a post out on Friday. Thursday late was the last day of Native American month, and the NCAA posted something touting how many Native Americans participate in NCAA athletics.
We know the one that isn't.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly right. Yeah, don't tell me about those. Tell me about the ones. Yeah. All right. So chronologically, shall we talk Mayo?
Sure.
One word to describe West Virginia's bowl invitation. Stunner. I mean, you know who was predicting this? Absolutely no one. It wasn't even in play because there is no affiliation. Mm-hmm. So horse trading went on, and I mean, it was going on. And if you were following it yesterday afternoon, I mean, literally, as of 2 p.m., like WVU had no inclination that they were even on the board. And then, about 3-ish, it starts to, but the ACC, because they were so staggered, I think, by Florida State not getting into the college football playoff, like they were like, whoa. And if you were following it through Brett McMurphy, who I think had probably the best handle on all of these things, he could tell, like, there's a conference call going on. We don't know where these schools are going at this point. And it was late. We knew West Virginia was in. Then as to whom the opponent was be, I think time will tell. There was some pretty good stuff going on in the back of this whole thing in order to find West Virginia's opponent.
It was if they weren't the very last bowl spots to be filled, they were right among them. All the ACC schools at once. Everything else was slotted. Listen, I'll jump in here. I think West Virginia landed in an A+ position here. To get a bowl that you're not normally associated with, to get it in Charlotte, which is basically an extension of West Virginia, to get it between Christmas and New Year's as a time slot, those are the two things you always hope for if you're a West Virginia administrator. We'll get into the matchup here in a little bit, and we'll talk about if that's a good one or not. But I think from a location, a date, and an opponent with a big brand like North Carolina, I think that's a massive, massive win for West Virginia in this.
Brad, I agree completely. I mean, Charlotte, it may as well be in Flatwoods. I mean,
all due respect to Flatwoods.
I-77 is an appendage of West Virginia. I mean, people will go there. I mean, do you remember when West Virginia went to the Continental Tire Bowl, Rich's second year, whatever it was? Mm-hmm. I mean, West Virginia just flooded the place. West Virginians can go there, will go there. They'll go to North Carolina, they'll go to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and they'll go to Florida. So, I mean, they'll go to Charlotte. Well, I think that's great. And like you said, Brad, it's a national opponent. They faded a little bit, but still North Carolina, that's a national brand. And maybe, as we get into the matchup, maybe, just maybe, their quarterback will be eyeing his NFL prospects and will decide he doesn't want to put himself at risk by playing in a bowl game, which would be fine with me.
No reason that young student athlete should put none at all. Put himself in harm's way whatsoever. That young man should rest himself up, get ready for the preparation for the NFL draft, and
I hope the ESPN and CBS spends a lot of time now just saying Drake May. I think Brad it's gone up.
Most have him as one of the first couple of quarterbacks off the board. So right. I'll be stunned if Drake May
could
plays.
Be in the top. They got him in like number 3 overall.
But do you remember what happened last time we played those dudes?
I know, Oscar Davenport. Well, it wasn't the last time, but it was
96.
Gator Bowl, 96 Gator Bowl.
Oscar Davenport. We're sitting there going their starters out. What's his name? TJ Yates?
That sounds right.
That's a good call if that's what it is.
I think it might have been
remember
TJ
old Oscar takes home bowl MVP honors.
All of a sudden, Oscar's running around there like the precursor of Pat Mahomes running around.
Well, but
I will say this. If May's out, they're going to have to do some work. He's thrown 98% of their passes this year. The backup has thrown 6
Connor
on
Harrell.
the season. 6.
West Virginia connection. Lonnie Galloway on the staff.
That's right.
At the University of North Carolina.
Connor Harrell has thrown 6 passes, completed 4. He's played in 3 games. Jefferson Boaz has thrown 1 pass and completed 1. So that's what you have there. By the way, I had on a spokesman from the Bowl earlier today, Miller Yoho from the Bowl. First thing he says is, I'm from West Virginia.
He did not. Come on now.
Of course he is.
Seriously.
From Charleston.
I would say this. When it comes to sponsorship activation, we've obviously never played in this game. They, in my just top of mind awareness, there's no one that does a better job of sponsorship activation than the Duke's Mayo people.
Absolutely.
Because I've never been to the game. All I know is I got images in my head of dudes eating mayonnaise sandwiches and people getting mayonnaise poured on top of them like they won that game.
Yeah.
In a world
you're getting it. They're going to come into your radio booth with a Snickers bar with mayonnaise on it and say, "Here, you want to try it?"
Last time I was there, remember George Foreman was selling that good.
I just told you at the beginning of the show George Foreman was there. You said you don't remember it.
I don't really.
I remember George Foreman came in.
I literally opened the show saying, "Oh yeah, George Foreman was there," and he dismissed it, waved me off.
Now he comes back and
says, "Hey, remember last time we were there, George Foreman was there." You see how he just did that?
The only reason I brought it up because you reminded me. That's the only reason I remember it.
I mean, I was standing there in the booth.
I was doing the game. I mean, you want me to sit there and go, "Hey, champ, I mean, the game's going."
Yes.
Yeah, everybody else did.
I'm doing the game.
Your color commentator, Dwight did. Everybody talked to him.
Dwight can talk to him. I got stuff going on in the field.
I was just standing
there.
there.
Timeout. You're sitting there during timeout with your feet up on the desk.
Fine.
I think
he stayed the whole time. He got on the air with you.
I know.
You even talked to him.
That was great.
I think what happened was he came in and you said, Foreman, of course, he did not beat Muhammad Ali.
I should have given a little Cosell. And there he is. Foreman.
Champ.
Back in the corner. Muhammad Ali.
He was classic.
He was great. Engaging. He was fun interview.
He was a great guy. I just remember his hands.
Oh my gosh.
Were absolutely like
you shake his hand, it's like
this was his glove. Like this like his hand was this big. I just remember that.
Hit the stinger real quick.
Oh, he's got something.
Hit the stinger.
Wait 1 second here. I got you want a short one?
Short one.
Okay.
Breaking news?
Breaking stats news.
Breaking stats news.
Brought to you by the Conley CPA Group.
Hey.
Bonus segment. Drake May's probably not playing, as we just established.
Yeah.
It's too bad he's not.
Huh?
This would be a matchup, might be the best bowl quarterback matchup of the postseason. 2 elite quarterbacks playing in this game. Ready for some numbers?
Yeah.
Here you go.
He's going to get Drake. You're going to get the Drake May stats in before he pulls out of the bowl.
Yeah, he'll pull out, so I'm going to get him in now. Drake May led the country in big-time throws. Know our stat we've used a bunch from Pro
Garrett's
Football
right
Focus.
in that category too, isn't he?
So Drake May led the country with 34. I mean, he's a great quarterback. He's going to be one of the top picks in the NFL draft.
Sure.
Garrett had 29, 4th nationally. For Garrett Green, who got snubbed from Big 12 honors.
Right.
29, right? Nationally. I didn't say he was 4th in the Big 12. I said he was 4th nationally.
Yeah.
Big time throw percentage because number of passes.
Right.
Drake May threw a bunch more passes, right?
Yeah.
He was 9th in the nation in big time throw percentage, which is pretty good. That's a nice year.
That's a nice number.
If you're 9th in big time throw percentage, the percentage of your passes that were big time throws, if you're 9th, you're probably on NFL radar. That's very good for Drake May.
Really good.
Really good. How about if you lead the nation in big time throw percentage as one Garrett Green did? 10% of his passes. We talked about that last week when he was here. Led the country in big time throw percentage. Garrett Green did. Not conference, which he did that too. Country.
Nation.
Then here's the other part. I mean, Drake May, fairly mobile, had the 30 best Pro Football Focus run grade of any quarterback. So he's a really good passer. But he could also take off 30. You're top 30 in the country.
He'll scoot on you.
Huh?
He'll scoot on you.
Yeah, top 30. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So
sure.
he can throw it. He can run it a little bit. Garrett Green?
Yeah.
That I just said led the nation in big time throw percentage.
Sure.
3rd best quarterback run grade in the country. 3rd.
Well, I think those.
So you would have had an elite quarterback matchup. Truly one of the best of bowl season. If Drake May decides he wants to play in this game.
I hope he doesn't, though.
Yeah. So listen.
How about those numbers?
That's a great comparison. I mean,
Speaking
you're right.
of reconsideration, can the Big 12 coaches reconsider the player honors?
No, not going to.
The all-conference honors?
No, they're not going to do it. But you know what else hit me this morning?
Green got hosed there. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This morning while I was doing my squat thrusts and my jumping jacks, something hit me. Like, have we given enough love to West Virginia finishing as the number 1 rushing team in Power 5? I say not.
Probably not.
No.
I say not.
No, I mean we talked about it all season, but as it finishes.
Let's put it into context now. Think about where it was. I mean, if you
the number was 100. The first year under Neil Brown, it was anemic. You were struggling to run, and every time we did the show, you'd come in and say, "All right,
can we get 100 yards?
Get to 100 yards rushing." That was the number. I vividly remember that. That was the number. Could you get to 100 today?
Yes, right.
That was the number,
and that's huge. They should put something up there over at that football stadium.
Hang a banner.
Hang a doggone banner.
Hang the banner.
Number 1 in rushing. That helps when you're recruiting, saying, so offensive linemen come in and go like that, and then your running backs come in. We care about running the football.
And for other mobile quarterbacks after Garrett's gone. You would like that too.
Exactly. But this young man May, I mean, can you get me a number on him? I need to talk to him about safety precautions. He needs to step away from this game.
I saw one that has him going to the Patriots as a 3rd pick.
Right. Yeah.
I'll be really surprised if he plays. They could potentially have some defensive guys that opt out of this as well.
Well, it wouldn't hurt any feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, we just want those young guys to stay safe.
They haven't been great against the run this season.
Excuse me. Back to the glasses.
89th nationally in rush yards, 11th in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Rush defense.
Run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's part of the intrigue of this game. And again, I know there's 3 weeks to talk about it, but here's just a little bit more that I'm looking for. You know, you're not going to have Zach Frazier in the middle. You'll have to see if a guy like a Doug Nestor that's really battled those injuries here these last few weeks, if he's able to go or if it makes more sense for him to not in this. So I think you're going to get a chance, even if Nestor plays, you're going to get a chance to see what that reconstituted line will look like for West Virginia. So I'm anxious to watch that. You know, that's part of where I think these games have morphed a little bit. And I think West Virginia's in that swing mode here. I think this would be a really nice cherry on top for this season to get a 9th win over a North Carolina type of team and close the chapter on this year and say, tremendous season. But I also think there's some look ahead for them next year with all these guys that they bring back, especially on the offensive side and the excitement. And I think you're going to get a chance to see some of these guys play, especially on that offensive line, because that's going to be a topic over the summer is how effective are you without Zach Frazier? I mean, that's a massive piece that's coming out there. And we know you've got some guys that can return, but watching some of these younger guys play in this game, I think will be interesting.
Brad, going back to guys you might lose, by the same token, does a Beanie Bishop not play? Does a Lee Koba not play on an already thin defense? You lose a couple guys like that.
Lee Koba's from North Carolina. You would hope maybe that would be helpful to him. Maybe... You know, Beanie Bishop is not someone that's on draft boards right now where everyone's going to run to try to get Beanie Bishop. Playing in a game like this again to more tape, better? I don't know. You just don't know. These games to me have become the equivalent at the lower level, not in the college football playoff. They've become the equivalent to soccer friendlies. When 2 soccer teams play against one another, they're exhibition games, and it's called a friendly. They play against. That's what these have basically morphed into.
Yeah, that's why I say I think there's a lot to look towards next year where you can get some younger guys in and play. And if you win, it's great. I think you celebrate the heck out of it. And as we've seen, if you West Virginia before, if you lost in it, all right, you flush it and you move on, and you're not out anything. I think it's absolutely just some exhibitions and a chance to see more football, it's a chance to play some guys. I think there's a lot of benefit to it still.
And to your point, this could not have been a better bowl game for West Virginia. You can stay home for Christmas. You can leave on the 26th. You can watch the game on the 27th. If you want to come back home the 27th, you can. You can stay overnight the 27th. You're home for New Year's. This is like made for West Virginia bowl game. You couldn't have asked for something better other than, obviously, an upper-tier bowl.
Especially given that you can get to so few road games easily if you're a West Virginia fan. I mean, this is an opportunity here. If you didn't have season tickets and didn't come to a game in Morgantown and you couldn't get to any away games, it's a chance if you're in that area, head over and catch them in person. I think it's tremendous for them.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Not going to spend a ton of time on this, but we will in later episodes. But what happened yesterday to Florida State, obviously, is just a massive, massive talking point right now today. But it also, and I don't want to jump it too big, but like, what does it mean in the future? And I know this is the last year where you had the 4. I get all of that. But a guy, Hoppy, that your son works with by the name of Tom Fornelli, who you're
Tom
familiar
Fornelli,
with.
Yeah, Tom's good.
I thought Tom said something, and they were doing a podcast of some sort. He said this, and this is kind of, I think, perfectly communicates what we have often talked about in this mass expansion mode that schools are in, which takes away from the true meaning and essence of collegiate sports. And I'm going to play it for you. And it's what we have been saying, and it also is that direct shot of what we're forced to accept. ESPN has done a wonderful, masterful job of making us all think that the only thing that matters is if you're in the national championship hunt, you matter. If you don't, you're
out. It's just like if you're not in,
you're of no consequence.
Right.
So this is what he said on a podcast yesterday.
I just want to make a plea to the listeners, to the people watching, college football fans in general, and this is the basis of what it's been part of the foundation of my complaints the entire time. Don't let them devalue conference titles. Don't let them devalue beating your rival. Don't let them devalue the feeling that you have every Saturday during the fall watching your favorite team play, win, lose, whatever. Do not devalue that just because television networks want you to think that the only thing that matters is winning a national title in a college football playoff system that has no real kind of guidelines set down to determine the teams other than we get in a room at the end of the year and we pick the teams we think should be in it. It doesn't matter. The national title is not the most important thing in this sport. It has never been the most important thing in this sport. Your relationship with the sport is more important than anything. Your relationship with your rivals, your relationship with your conference. Keep that at the forefront. Don't worry about this bullshit, because that's all it has ever been, and that was proved finally and emphatically today.
There you go. I think it says it.
Well, you said we've said that from the beginning, though. We talked about that with Oregon and Oregon State, and Oregon State getting out there, getting just pushed off the ledge for doing nothing wrong. Listen, if you were a part of that Pitt West Virginia game earlier this year, and we were over there doing our 3 guys before the game food court, when University Avenue is packed up in every direction, there weren't any national networks commenting on that. There weren't any national game day shows rolling into town to cover that. That was an awesome experience. I not only agree with Tom, we've been saying that for a lot longer. I mean, all of us have been around college sports for long enough now. You don't need anybody else to tell you how valuable it is. And West Virginia, I think, is right in the forefront of that. You're a school that the networks aren't going to come around and love very often. And yet there's generations of West Virginians that love college football. So I think he's right when he says, don't let them take that from you. And I think this bowl game is a good example. Mm-hmm. It's another chance to get together with friends and family and enjoy a football game. And is it for the national title? No. Does that mean it can't be fun? No. Right? It can still be a really fun, great experience.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be packed out with Mountaineer fans. So it's going to be fun.
So what Tom said is exactly right. And Brad, you say that all the time. And I agree. I agree with that completely. But look, the national networks they're looking for, what moves the needle? Okay. And if you turn on national radio shows, it's all about, the top teams. It's not about any of the other teams. It's all about whether, Florida State got screwed, which is a legitimate story, obviously. But you know what? That's what I've always liked about college football is the bowl structure, is that you can be the champion of a bowl. Okay? You're not going to be the national champion, but you can be the champion of the Duke's Mayo Bowl. You can be the champion of whatever bowl. And you know what? You get a trophy for being a champion of the bowl, and I think that's tremendous. Your season doesn't have to. Whereas in basketball, your season, if you're in the tournament, season ends with a loss. You can end with a win and a championship.
I thought really what this did, though, guys, it highlighted what a ridiculous system is in place. It really just did. It had no chance of succeeding from the beginning. You should have been able to see that some year you're going to have one school that's left out that doesn't make any sense to be left out. And I get the injury situation, and we've seen that in basketball for years, right? You see that happen. But what a ridiculous system this is. And I'm sure the group of 5 teams are standing up screaming right now saying, well, welcome to the party. They've been saying about the exclusion forever. So it just, to me, highlighted, because here's the thing. Alabama beating Georgia and not getting in with their resume,
there would have been a problem.
That would have been a problem there. If you let Alabama in, you can't not let Texas in, who beat that Alabama team. So they did have a case. So I understand that. But again, if you're Florida State, man, you have got to be hot. Because here's the other thing they did. They won their conference, which everybody says on that committee, that's important. And it mattered for Alabama and Texas. That's what got them in. But they also went out, guys. We talk about West Virginia being one of 6 to play 2 Power 5 schools in the non-conference. So did Florida State. Played LSU and played Florida. And I think you asked the question, Tony, and we'll talk about this more as it goes, where that plays in down the road now that you're expanding the college football field. So win your league and you're in. But I think if you're a conference like the Big 12, that's what you have to be on high alert for. That a second-place Big 12 team in one of these years, when maybe should be good enough to get in there, starts to get looked over and passed over because the narrative becomes about these Big 2. When you keep jamming SEC and Big Ten down everybody's throat, and you can watch the Big Ten this year, there are some bad football teams in that Big Ten. So be careful when you're telling me how good strength of schedule is at the top of the Big Ten when you're beating up on some teams that have no business in that discussion. That's where, if you want to look down the road, that's where the Big 12 has to be on guard and make sure it's doing everything it can to keep its programs competitive, bringing in top athletes, and being very good so that you can't get screwed on the back end of that 12-team playoff.
You know what happens is that with the 14 playoff is the last week really made a huge difference because Florida State was failing the eye test, right? They looked okay. I mean, their defense looked great, but they looked okay against Louisville that just had a second loss. Whereas Alabama, the way they won the Auburn game and the way they beat Georgia, the previous number 1 team hadn't lost a game. So, I mean, wait. Regardless of what the committee says, the eye test whether they acknowledge the extent of the eye test, I think was gigantic for Alabama.
So a 4th and 31 throw to the back of the end zone on an offensive pass interference call that wasn't called. That's what gave Alabama the eye test. You want to use that for an Alabama eye test? What I'm saying is they should have lost that game. If you want to use that, don't use that as your example. That friggin' Auburn game, they should have lost. Throw the penalty flag on basically a Hail Mary. That's not the reason.
But what I'm saying is that was a play that everybody saw, didn't see the rest of it, and then they go out and they beat Georgia. And so then you're like, wow, this team's hot. This is a hot team. I mean, who's better today, Alabama or Florida State?
Well, obviously, it's not Florida State because they don't have their quarterback, but that's not what this is about. If we're just going to pick teams out of a hat, then let's just assign the teams.
That's the question. That
Florida State beat a top 10 Louisville team there to win its conference title with its 3rd-string quarterback. Should you get more credit for that than Alabama needing a missed call and a basic Hail Mary throw at the end? Now, you want to compare those two things?
Well,
Louisville's top 10 team. They went out and they didn't look great. They beat a top 10 team with a 3rd-string quarterback. How many points should you get for having the depth that your 3rd-string quarterback can get you a win when Alabama's starter almost couldn't get them a win against a bad Auburn team?
Okay, but then they go out and they beat the number 1 team in the country.
I understand that, but you can't just pick which game you want because it's the last one.
No, but I'm saying, but there is...
Florida State opened the season with a non-conference win over the guy that's going to win the Heisman. Should they get more points for that?
What I'm trying to suggest is that I think that subconsciously members of the committee see what happened over the last week or two and are influenced by that, whether they admit it or not.
Should be 1,000% wrong then.
Let me ask you this.
Florida State did what it was supposed to do. Won a conference title that you say is important. They scheduled difficult teams, more than most teams in the country. Did that and won every one of their games.
Let me ask you this.
Alabama barely skated by.
Stephen A. Smith had a point. If Deion Sanders was the coach at Florida State, would Florida State have gotten into the playoff? He says, yeah, probably would. Why? Because it's all for the show.
The attraction.
It's all for entertainment. It's all for ratings. Does the committee go, we're taking this thing out. We're taking this thing out for bid as time goes on. We need big numbers. TCU impacted this decision. They do not want a national semifinal or a championship game turning into a boat race.
And that's why people within college football should scream and not stop screaming. Because you know what? You know who doesn't do that and can't do that? Were the Arizona Diamondbacks an attractive TV property in the World Series?
Correct.
They still got in, didn't they?
You're right.
There wasn't somebody sitting in a room that said, hey, you know what? Can we find a way to get the Yankees in there? We got to slide the They didn't do that. So if that's going to be the case, and listen, that's the case, scream and holler and don't allow that to happen.
Right.
That is incredibly wrong that you can do that. And because here's the thing, I could turn around, Hoppy, and take your argument. I'll make the argument for Alabama too. I could do that as well. I just think this. If West Virginia were in this situation,
we lose our
could
minds.
all see West Virginia being put in this situation.
Yes.
And here's the other thing, real quick. I don't need to stand up here and grandstand and apologize for the Florida State brand.
Right.
I mean, they don't need my help. They didn't come to our defense when we were getting screwed. So I don't need to do that for Florida State's brand. I'm doing that because I could see West Virginia in this situation, and I'd want to blowtorch the whole thing.
Well, that's a fair point. If this happened,
burn it all down if this were West Virginia.
If this happened to West Virginia, there would be a special session of the legislature. I'm
there is one in Florida. Florida's just announced they're doing that.
Are they really?
Yeah, yes.
I mean,
they won't do anything.
we would have gone live yesterday.
Yes.
We would have gone live and still be live today, 12 hours.
And that's part of my emotion in defending Florida State is that I could 100%.
When you know we don't care about Florida State.
I don't care what happens to Florida State. I could see West Virginia being stuck in this situation.
100%.
Yes, fair.
That's my point on this.
You ready to do this?
Go ahead.
I'm kind of exhausted now after that.
You guys went at it pretty good there. That's right now. Gather those kids around this podcast right now. Bring them all together. Because it's time for textual healing, and it's brought to us by episode800.com. We're 6 days away as we record from December 10, which is our big day where you have to have your orders in.
When is that? When's December 10th?
So
next week.
Saturday.
It's like
6 days. I said 6 days.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 10. So here's the deal. If you want to make 100% sure that you have your items from our website, episode800.com, please order before December 10th. So what am I talking about there? I'm talking about, let's start flashing some pictures here, Luke. How about the coffee? You want that game day grind, which is absolutely fantastic. Right there it is. Game day grind. I talked to the girls over at Mountaineer Roasting.
Still selling well?
On Saturday. She said, yeah. And she said, people really like it. I said, yeah, thank you.
Good reviews.
It's a light roast. It's a blend. It's a light roast. It's fantastic. So put your order in on episode800.com. Those are shipping right now. And also go back there, Luke, if you would please, to the Mountaineer Munch. They've already fulfilled 2 production orders full of that and more to come. So when you get it, it's going to be fresher than fresh. And it's available to you. There's the folks from Mountaineer Popcorn right there on the right. That's not like a piece of stock photography. That's the family. They make that popcorn. They grow that popcorn in Shepherdstown. They make it all, and they'll ship soon. So that's really, really tasty. Trust me, I said it on the last pod. You have my word as a food snob that you'll like it. Really is good. And plus all the apparel. Efforting T-shirts have become our #1 seller. They're right up there. How about that, Brad? That's a nice looking shirt.
Great shirt.
You have one of those yet, Hop?
Pardon me?
You have an Efforting T-shirt?
I don't. I went on the website this weekend for the first time.
Oh, Lord.
And it was it's a good-looking website.
Thank you.
You could do some nice Christmas shopping.
WVU students built that.
It's nice. I mean, it's very professional.
WVU students
but
built
you want to you always run into this, right? Like, what do you get so-and-so?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, so go ahead. What else we have in the efforting stuff? The Always a West Virginia Connection items. That's really nice. That's really good stuff. Thanks for having us. That stuff's on there. And all of it. The Hope stuff that we're doing with the Cancer Institute, that helps a ton. For the folks, Cancer Institute has partnered up, or we've partnered with them. And so if you're looking for stuff, order before December 10, and you'll have it in hand and put that under your tree, and it'll be a lot of smiles come Christmas Day.
Good stuff. Where do you get it?
Episode800.com. Don't write out AEIGHT, right? Episode800.com. Love to have you. All right, you ready? Hoppy, last episode toward the end. I don't know if you remember this or not.
I remember I was attacked viciously.
Excuse me?
A
lot of people came in. A lot of people came in on this. Brad, do you have your text?
I do.
Somewhere I missed the whole, you don't use handkerchiefs anymore.
Well,
and I went home and I told my wife.
Not everyone agrees with that.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Sam in Mineral Wells writes, texter, I'm pro hanky. P.S. I'm also pro watch out for deer. That's what he wants us to say when people leave. Texter, this is Hank from Hancock County. Probably not his real name. My friends call me Hanky. I want to commend Hoppy on two things, hiring the best soccer coach ever and always carrying a handkerchief.
Commend you. Does Hank carry one? He didn't say that he did.
Sounds like he does.
We didn't say that he did.
Texter, Evan in Iowa. I have not seen a hanky since my 85-year-old grandfather died 22 years ago. Hopefully you don't double it as a pocket square. Texter.
Jeez.
I sat on the wooden bleachers in the bowl of the old stadium, passing a jar and watching the Mountaineers play while you guys were still at home eating Fruit Loops and watching cartoons. Like Hoppy, I carry a laundered and neatly folded bandana in my hip pocket nearly every day because, well, I'm a grown-ass man.
Thank you, my friend.
A tissue is a single-use tree-based dainty that you fellers must rely on ladies to proffer from their purses whenever you are in need or use your sleeve. My bandanas are almost infinitely reusable, come in blue and gold, among other colors, and have infinite uses. I can bend down and stop a child's nose from running, or tie it tight at your armpit and prevent you from bleeding out. I've used it to wrap a piece of cornbread, lash something onto my backpack, tied it on my rifle scope to keep fog off the lenses, filter water and air, wipe my brow, used it to cover my head in the sun, mopped up a mess and offered it to the person in the pew next to me. I put it up to my face each time I sneeze. If there are people around me, especially inside a car or a plane, as any gentleman should do. And I don't have to trouble an old lady for something from her purse. They're my germs. It's my pocket. My wife and I both enjoy the show. Keep on going, Mark from Madison.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, they're his germs until he offered it to the person in the pew next to him. Then they became
then they just
that
give
person.
it to
Well, what he cited was multiple uses.
Is what he's saying. P.S. Watch out for
Which
deer.
is kind of the point. Don't multiple use it.
Well, what if you're bleeding out and he's got this big hanky?
I'd take
you
it.
might want to have
probably
it.
accept it in that point. Yeah. The big hacker you cough up, I probably wouldn't then accept your hanky.
You know what?
Both can be true. I can accept the hanky if I'm bleeding out, but don't want to sneeze and blow into that and put it back in my pocket. I can handle both of those things.
But then you are acknowledging there is a use for it. Is that right? So it's good to have. Handy to have. Look, I don't really care.
According to a survey done in 2020, so this is dated information, but I'm sure it's past us. 170 million people used a tissue. So I think you can...
Is that real? Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. When I bring numbers, do I bring true numbers?
Spreads on stats got a
tissue number. Got tissue numbers.
I'm gonna see what the stat is on handkerchiefs. I didn't.
170 million.
I did not know. My wife said.
Thank you for the email, Mark.
Said I went home and I told him about the kerfuffle we had about it, and she said I've told you that before. Nobody uses handkerchiefs anymore.
Yo, go Karen. Go Karen.
And, I just somewhere missed it along the line. I missed the memo.
Mark's got your back.
Thank you, Mark.
Go ahead.
Okay, texter. The handkerchief to me is like a bib on a baby. No matter how cute the baby, you still think, I'm not touching it. Texter. Gentlemen, and I guess Brad and Tony, I carry a handkerchief and it comes in handy. I have 2 young Mountaineer fans and another arriving next month. Spills, runny noses, tears, etc. are all inevitable. I launder those but start each day with a fresh one. Occasionally, I'm able to offer my hanky to a stranger in need, along with a keep it. They're cheap. And while not necessarily disposable, I don't ask for them to be returned.
Well played.
I've taken the ribbing from being old-fashioned, but no one who needed a hanky has ever turned one down. Ben from Hurricane. P.S.
Being polite.
I'm sending this while listening, and it just so happens I'm wearing suspenders too.
While sharpening your pencil on a built-in pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
Not one of the fancy electric ones.
No,
I'm talking about the crank.
Yeah.
Love the crank.
Then just make sure while you're doing that, catch the shavings of the pencil sharpeners they're coming down to.
Yeah. Be sure to empty that.
Yeah, empty it or just put the wastebasket right underneath. Sometimes when that thing, because that plastic container would crack a lot in those old school pencil sharpeners. So sometimes you didn't have it.
Yeah.
You had to put the wastebasket then right underneath so it would drop directly down in.
Yepper bepper. I'm sorry, guys. I just got to do this one text here.
What?
So I got something busted.
Okay.
I'm not hiring a coach, but okay. All right, here we go. First off, Green episode was awesome. He mentioned that he liked to play golf. Son and I are big golfers, Mountaineer fans. Picture attached. When Winfield won the state title, we might be able to help get his goal of being a scratch golfer. We'd love to play around with him this summer. Based on the NIL conversation, if he would have his picture made with us, we would pay for his golf and lunch. Don't want to break any NCAA rules. Thanks, Glenn and Gavin from Scott Depot.
Look at that.
There you go.
That's a lot of hardware.
So wait a minute. You can give them money, but you can't pay for their lunch?
You could say, Garrett, I'm going to pay you a name, image, and likeness fee if you would play golf with us. That would be the service that he provides, and lunch will be included in this service that I'm providing. That would be a fair NIL.
What if I was another school and I wanted to take his third best rush grade in the country and make it part of my team and wanted to drop off 2 big suitcases of money? You can do that.
You can do that.
I mean, yeah.
That's
if you'd
allowed.
like the young man to come play for your institution, even though in the rules it says don't, you still can.
You could do that.
That's how that works?
That's exactly how that works. And also, you can call them anytime, day or night. At any point, you can call them.
Texter, Garrett Green is an impressive young man. Kudos to his parents. I loved his quote, I'm from Florida, but I grew up in West Virginia. True or false, Hudson Clement can be an All-American by the time he graduates. Question, is layup shot redundant? Thanks again for keeping us attached to the state and the university we love. I'll go in no particular order. Like, do you call it a layup shot? It's a great one. I say there are certain people, if you wanted to be like specific, a layup is a type of shot, jump shot, hook shot, layup shot. I tend to lean into, you can say it's a layup shot.
You don't say that,
I agree with
though.
you.
I do.
You do?
Yeah, layup shot.
You say Kobe Johnson inside for a layup shot?
Well, no, not all the time.
No. I don't think you do that.
I people say that I do say that. Oh, no, wait. People get on me for saying a free, what do they say? Free throw. I don't know what that, there's certain people that sit at home
and wait for you to say something.
They just wait all day. Just not me, but like there are certain people that just try to find the most like silly ass stuff to make a big thing over.
Yeah.
There are people that live their lives for that. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, can Hudson Clement be an All-American by the time he graduates? I mean, I don't know. Show me what is he going to do? Is he going to go catch 85 balls and like score 14 touchdowns? Yeah, he could be an All-American. I mean,
saw him Saturday.
What's that?
Who? Saw him Saturday.
How do you?
Oh, he was at the game
he was
watching
in
his younger
Wheeling
brother?
watching his alma mater, Martinsburg Bulldogs, and his brother, who was pushing for Hudson's state record 8 touchdowns in one game. Murphy Clement had 6, 4 rushing, 2 passing, as Martinsburg claimed its 10th title since 2010.
Wow. Understand the head ball coach was there.
Head ball coach was there. Coach Stewart was in attendance as well.
Yeah, and Blaine Stewart was there, yeah.
Big ovation for the head ball coach.
I watched the game before I went over to soccer, and I saw Neil there. Was he a goalpost sitting?
Yeah.
He goes under the goalpost, doesn't he?
He does. He went end zone to the left.
End zone, I should say.
End zone left.
I didn't want him to see
And Coach Stewart. Blaine was there.
Stu, I saw too.
Sure.
Longtime WVU fan remembered my first attended game. Sat at Old Mountaineer Field, crisp 16-degree day. My father and younger brother under a blanket with a propane gas heater to keep us warm. Didn't really need the heat because we watched Mike Sherwood and Bob Gresham and Braxton heat the stick to Villanova 30-20. Love your show and all you do for Mountain Nation. I'll tell you what.
Carried your own propane gas
How did you
heater
get a
in?
propane heater into this?
Safety was stadium security probably a little bit different back then. You just brought in a heater and said, "Hey."
Did that fit in the clear bag?
Well, that might have been so long ago that before plastic.
That was start chopping up those wooden bleachers at Old Mountaineer Field and use those for kindling.
Jake, originally from Preston County, now living in West Texas. I coach middle school basketball. We played 2 games back on Thursday night for 7th grade. Our first game Thursday, we won on a putback at the buzzer. That was our thanks for having us moment, except we were at home, so it was thanks for coming moment. Those moments were great at any level.
True that.
Texter, tell Garrett his unpaid bills and grease at that bar are taken care of. I know a guy. Sound by Nick the Greek. Texter, hey, 3 guys, I was proud of you 3. It took 90-plus minutes before the show went off the rails last episode. Very good job also getting it back on track. I'm of Hoppy's generation, so yes to Hankies.
Thank you, Frank.
Signed by Frank in Clarksburg, Fly
Appreciate
the W. Yeah. Texter, fellas, second time, long time, watching the Garrett interview while at work. Not surprised at all to see that Hoppy is a pointer finger only texter. So we had a shot of you, Hoppy nerd. I don't know who you were.
What did I do?
You were texting during the last show a lot, and you were going one finger.
Well, he stabs at it?
Yeah.
He doesn't thumb text it?
No.
You know what? I can't. I do that. I can't do that.
Well, we're just happy you got away from your Razor phone, and you've moved into.
Hello, operator. Operator.
Alice, can you get me an open line? I need to make a call. Did you have a party line growing up, Hoppy?
We had. Oh gosh, I can't. I shouldn't even tell this. We had a party line, and it was not a dial-up. You had a box, and you would ring like, and our number was.
Excuse me.
I'm serious. We had a party line, and you had a box.
You're making your hand. You're cranking.
You had a crank initially. I'm serious. And it was like your number was like 3 longs and 2 shorts.
What the hell does that mean? What the hell is 3
happening?
Longs and 2 shorts?
Churchill was alive in 1872.
It was. We lived out in the country and on a farm.
What does 3 longs and 2 short mean?
Like ring, 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 ring. That was like our number.
Get the shirt printed. That's a t-shirt. We just got a t-shirt. 3 longs, 2 shorts. That was our number.
I'm incredulous. I don't know what to say. What does all of that? Would you do this?
Yeah, you crank.
Ring, 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 ring.
Yeah, if you want to call somebody.
How does that work?
You know what your number is. So you'd hear the phone and you'd hear like, was that 3 longs and 2 shorts, or was that? Because everybody got on the party line got the same thing. Got all the rings. So they might be calling like somebody down the road, and you're like, no, was that 3 longs? And you'd pick it up and go, hi, it's Kirchhoff's. Oh, I was calling Mabel. Oh, okay, sorry. Talk to you later. I mean, that's and eventually we did get a regular dial phone, but
am I in a dream? I mean,
3 longs, 2 short.
What century was this in? I mean, like, did you go to a saloon with Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty? I mean, what in the hell world were you in? When was this? Like 1886?
This was like 19. Okay, I was born.
Yeah, I mean, here comes. I was born in a 1-room cabin. Is the next line? Were you born in a hospital?
I was born in 1955.
In a hospital?
1855?
Or is that like in a tub of water? Where were you? Did Doc Blanchard come and see you with like a medical bag? Hang on, honey. Marcus Welby's coming in to deliver Hoppy.
3 longs, 2 shorts.
Double check that was my brother, but I think that was the number.
Hey Nick, was it 3 longs and 2 shorts? Yeah, it was.
No, 2 longs, 3 shorts.
I'm a little older than you guys. This was like 1960, 1961, 1962, 1963.
Okay.
What are you doing over there?
I got this package delivered to us on Friday. I attended an event, and these wonderful people that we know, Martha and Charlie, they attended both of our 3 Guys Live events here in town. You remember, Hoppy? That was the gentleman that climbed.
Yes.
Mount Kilimanjaro or whatever it was?
Yeah, so I saw them. And
Where they scaled the mountain?
Yeah, so I saw Martha. Martha's incredible.
Was it Kilimanjaro or base camp?
I don't think it was Kilimanjaro, but
it was?
The only thing I could think of. No, I don't think it was.
She's pretty interesting. She takes foreign internationals and brings them on trips, and brought them to New York City recently.
Okay.
And she said, hello, guys. When I visited Hershey, Pennsylvania, and saw all the interesting Reese's, I thought of you guys. I couldn't help getting some for you to try. I got the maple garlic rub for Tony.
Maple garlic?
Yeah, maple garlic salt rub that you could put on stuff to try with his grilling. We live in southwestern Pennsylvania where the garlic and maple comes from. The covered bridge garlic is owned by our friends, the Pritts. I hope you enjoy. Signed by Martha and Charlie Mitchell, the World Travelers. So she got us Reese's Shapes. She got us Reese's Nutcrackers, which you probably would take holiday season to the Nutcracker Ballet. And she also got us Reese Peanut Cup miniatures.
Regular minis. Yeah. Look at those trees. Those trees and shapes are the...
But they're a delightful couple. And they were asking about you to make sure that you were all right.
I'm fine.
And I said, yeah, he's fine. And
well, thank you, guys.
Very
nice.
They're great. They're just P1 superb people.
I think it was base camp.
Yeah.
Thanks, Martha and Charlie.
Texter, I'm looking right now on episode800.com. I'm looking for the elusive I Know the Mothman Peter Millar half quarter zip hoodie when I was taken aback by the vitriol elicited by the Mothman P666 texter toward TC. Little did I know, only a few minutes later, poor Hoppy would be insulted with hatred, acrimony, and hostility around his usage of the 240-year-old handkerchief. Garrett Green is a gem and a fine young man. We're lucky to have him lead our football club. Let's go, Mountaineers. Signed, Mr. Poker from Polka with land in Tays Valley. Thank you.
Isn't it nice that also, reflecting on Garrett Green, I mean, he said, Tony, 1,000% he's in. Anybody can call him, but his 1,000% he's in. That's one thing you don't have to worry about for next season in a land where you have to worry about everything.
Love that kid. Texter, Metro News getting a shout-out during the final Pac-12 championship. There it is, Hoppy. There's Herb Street and Fowler, and they're running the ticker all Friday night. West Virginia returning head coach Neil Brown says West Virginia AD Ren Baker tells Metro News.
Did you send that to Pete Thamel?
I might do that. I might send it to Pete.
Send it to him.
Yeah, I am going to send that to Pete. I'm going to say, yo, your boy Kercheval's strutting big time. Yeah.
Even though that's, I mean, in fairness, and Brad can cut me to the quick here, is that for many, that's a non-story because, and I've been milking this non-story now for about a week, with Neil Brown coming on saying, God willing, he would be the coach next year. He expects to be the coach. The work here is not finished. He and his family like it here, enjoy it here. So that was that. And then Ren Baker saying that, you know, they haven't worked out any, hasn't talked to his agent as of our interview, but that he's going to be back, that he's the coach. He's going to be back. So I just wanted to, I know that was a kind of a given, but it had not been said publicly, and I wanted to try to lock that down. That's
understood. I understand why you asked it.
Yeah.
Completely understand that. But it was also the biggest non-story of all stories. Because after he got to 7, it was like, it wasn't non-story. I mean, yes, I get it. I understand why, but it was like, yeah, okay, fine.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I'm not criticizing you for asking it, but it was like,
well, but it needed to be said at some point. It still needed to be said at some point.
When does it not need to be said, though? Now, what year are we going to do this every year? You do it every year now with coaches? And never take Neil out of the equation. Neil will be the last coach here. How do you judge when to do this, when not to do it?
It's
a non-story. Go ahead.
No, it's not a non-story. It started out.
He's right. When he got 7, he was coming back.
Yeah. By the way, he's a bad person.
Why?
Bad person.
Why?
Because he just opened up these Reese's Shapes, and
I
might have 33 of them before the end of the show.
I told you.
Have you ever had those? Can you get these at Gomart?
I don't know. I've not seen the shapes. It's usually the trees are the more readily available.
It's a boot.
It's the ratio.
It's Santa's boot. Look at Hoppy. It's Santa's boot. I mean, it's doggone Santa's boot. Or no, it's a stocking.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, it's a Santa's boot.
Hey, let me tell you something. If we could swear on this, I would have just busted your ass 3 long rings and 2 short. So I made a mistake.
Look, Santa's boot.
Well, they got a bell.
Can we hang up Santa's boot next to the chimney?
They got a bell. They got a stocking. They got a bell. They have a snowman, and they got a stocking, which I think looks amazingly like Santa's boot.
They're very good.
You're as big a dummy as I am.
Hey, when do those orders need to be in for episode 800?
10, 12, 10.
Get everything there?
Buy 1210, episode800.com.
Coffee, the popcorn.
All of it. Peter Millar gear, efforting shirts.
I love the episode with Garrett, says a texter. I just feel the love and humbleness to this state and the culture here. Loved when he proclaimed he was a Mountaineer no matter who calls. Right now, I'm like a little kid on Christmas Eve waiting to see who gets to play the world champion Mountaineers. On to basketball. I believe in this coach. I believe in this roster. Our problems are pretty apparent with depth. Do you think we will have a clear identity of this team by the time Big 12 play starts, or an efficient offense, good spacing going to be enough? All good. Thanks. Good things take time, but just wanted to get your thoughts on what you guys are seeing from this team being identity-wise, with or without our missing pieces sitting on the bench. Seth in Charleston.
Brad, the return of Carissa means, complete the sentence, the return of Carissa means
a lot. Because some of that it's going to change. It will change 20%, the identity.
40%?
A lot. I mean, I'm not going to put a number on it yet till we see it, but it will help significantly. It'll help in two parts. One, he's just really good. Can shoot the three, can distribute the ball, can push it, can handle it, can do all of the things you want your point guard to do. Gives you another body, another really good player. And then it allows a Kobe Johnson, who's gained invaluable minutes, to become a key piece as well. He can come off the bench. He can start over and start at the two guard if you want, which then puts somebody else able to come in and spell those guys. So I think he's massive, and I think, will the identity, to answer the texter's question, will the identity be known by then? No, I don't think it will, because you won't have these guys playing together long enough. That'll start to come out during Big 12.
Well, you start to think, if you had a Cook, if you had Raekwon Battle, you got to
know what the roster is going to be. Things change. I mean, every addition, every piece changes the whole deal. Hello, gentlemen. I found your YouTube channel about a year ago and have absolutely enjoyed it. Sorry to hear it won't be around much longer, and I've tried to watch other channels covering the world champion Mountaineers, but they just suck. Sorry, I can't think of another word to describe how bad they are. As a 48-year-old man who has a handkerchief on my person and an extra one in my vehicle at all times, I'm with Hoppy.
Thank you.
Brad may know stats and what makes a great Reese's, and Tony may know food and how to hunt sleeping animals, but Hoppy understands a Kleenex may not always be available. Absolutely love the show. Born and raised in Raleigh County, been living in the middle of enemy territory, Hokie country, since 1998. Go Mountaineers. Jesse, Southwest Virginia.
I think the handkerchief thing is trending my way.
It is. You guys were hilariously...
Is it hard to find tissue? Tissue's hard to find?
I don't see it around right now. I don't see it here.
You don't have pockets in your pants?
Yeah, and I got a handkerchief in my pocket.
I couldn't carry tissue in it. The only handkerchiefs
go in your
pockets.
I'm just saying, if I had to sneeze right now, I don't see. Do you have a handkerchief? What do you have in your pocket? Do you have a tissue? Do you have a tissue in your pocket?
I don't need to show you what's in my pockets, but if I wanted a tissue, I could.
But so you don't have a tissue?
No, but I have my sleeve, which is basically what you're doing. I mean, I could just do it right on my sleeve. I'd still continue to wear it like you would continue to wear your hanky. So what's the difference?
Winning. I'm winning on handkerchiefs.
You can.
Move on.
170 million people with tissues.
I'll get some.
You think you're in the ballpark of that? You do have 4 textures on your side.
And I'll go with that.
Okay.
These are my people.
That's your win.
I'm winning.
Oh.
What is that? What is it?
What are these white things that are readily available that I could use?
That's not a tissue.
Oh.
It's not a tissue.
Oh, but I couldn't use it to sneeze
what is
or
it?
clear my nose.
What is it?
Oh.
I don't even know what it is.
Oh.
It's a piece of copy paper.
That's available. You asked what would happen if I sneezed. I think I could do it right into that. Oh, and then you know what I could do with this? I could throw it right away so I don't put the germs back onto my person.
Move on.
But that's just me.
I think if I had a cup of our game day grind coffee right now, paired with the Reese cup,
yeah, that's a nice pairing.
Be better than a piece of filet.
It'd be good.
It's a great pairing.
Yeah.
3 guys. John from Nashville. I got tears in my eyes when Garrett Green shared his story of how he handled the loss against Houston. Paid a visit to the cancer patient named Katie the morning after the game. Told me everything I need to know about this young man's character and exceptional mentality. No matter where Garrett Green ends up in life, he can't Miss. Texter. Scopes. As a 27-year-old railroad employee, you are completely incorrect with the railroad employee handkerchief correlation. For the record, aside from the WVU horrible hanky I had as a lad in the early 80s, I have never owned a handkerchief nor used one.
Momentum
this,
switching.
Coupled with your national rail system comment, prove that you should please stop opining about railroads. Signed by Morton KC via Kanawha City.
Mort.
I don't know, man.
Mort's on you.
Like maybe in my memory somewhere, maybe like when guys like cowboys used to jump on trains and rob them, they have handkerchiefs over their faces. Was that where I'm thinking of that?
It might be what you're thinking of.
Like the horse comes down to the side next to the engine, and then like the guy's got a mask on, he jumps in like, all right, give it to me.
And then you couldn't identify him.
Yeah, you can't identify
And then
him.
as he's riding away, because it's really dusty, then if he had to sneeze or blow his nose, he had it right there, dual purpose.
That's probably what I was thinking.
Probably.
Morton, Kansas City via Kanawha City. Texter, ciao amici, responding to the Kirchhoff handkerchief debate. Yes to a hanky in a dress suit pocket for style. No to a hanky for snotting up and putting back in your pocket. Sorry, Hopgasm.
That's all right. Your choice.
Texter, 100% a football school, FUTBOL. Give Coach Stratford a long extension and a big buyout. Need more stadium seating at the Delesk. Signed Mick from Spencer in Phoenix. Texter.
They were filled Saturday, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you were there?
Sold out.
Well, it was shoulder to shoulder. First text, born a Mountaineer 1937. Away game, thanks for having us. Home game, thanks for coming back. Hurry back. Texter, no longer a landowner. However, my special place in West Virginia. Route 42 as you cross the Potomac from Kitzmiller, Maryland. Signed by Junior from Columbia, South Carolina. There they are. Standing there. Husband and wife.
Yay.
Nice.
Hey, guys. Thank you so very much. Texter. After hashtag efforting my salvation as an usher at church this morning, I thought of a thanks for having us for home games. Have a great week. Signed by Wayne in Clarksburg. That is a good one. Texter. In response to the last episode, number 1, handkerchief. Number 2, don't judge early 20th century football schedules by 21st century standards. After all, West Virginia Wesleyan and Washington and Jefferson were our biggest rivals 100 years ago. 3, yes, this has been a tumultuous year in WVU sports, especially in the leadership ranks. Shane is dismissed. Don Plitzawhite leaves abruptly without a word. Bob Huggins self-destructs, and the basketball program is down to a handful of players. All the questions about Neil Brown's status. The volleyball coach resigns. Hopefully, there are no more surprises in the remaining days. Signed by CL in Clarksburg. Yes, there has been a surprise, CL. It's 3 longs and 2 shorts. No one knew that. That was a surprise. Nor that Hoppy was raised by wolves. Texter, dear Ed, Mountaineer in Old North State here.
Dr. Ed. Is that Dr.?
I'm sorry, Dr. Ed, Mountaineer in the Old North State here. Mayo Bowl tradition is that the losing team's play-by-play announcer has a large bowl of mayonnaise dumped on his head. Let's go, Mountaineers. There it is, Hoppy. Duke's Mayo.
There you go.
It's twangy. You say you have that in your house, Brad?
Yeah, I'll get a picture. I've got it sitting in my fridge right now.
It's good.
We're big Duke supporters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Got a little kick to it?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Well,
It's just...
yeah, it's good. It's good mayo.
Hoppy, it's a
Yeah, I mean,
it's
not
a
like
it's a
not all
healthy
spicy on you.
it's a healthy mayo.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not gonna. You're not gonna go. Oh, I can't have it. Very good. Good mayo.
Okay, good. Dukes. Is that like a Hellman's rival? Or, I mean, is
Oh
Dukes,
yeah,
is Dukes
they
regional?
They lock up. They lock up. Hellman's and Dukes. They go like, let's bring
do
it.
they?
Let's go.
Okay.
Loser leaves town.
Duke's very good.
Texter Charlie from Midlothian. He's our guy. Your guy's banner provides so many opportunities for texts. This text may cause me to receive some kidding from Tony and Brad, but Hoppy, I've got your back.
Momentum back.
I too am old school, and I carry a handkerchief in my pocket every day just for those emergency situations. It does get replaced whenever used, however. By the way, I saw a post on a Facebook from a Bubba Reed that describes Zach Frazier's last play as the Mountaineers' runaway tow truck.
Well, that's good.
That's very well done. Ben from Youngstown would love to get your thoughts on this message to college football fans. Yeah, I played that from Tom Fornell, yeah. Texter. Hey, Scope Spreads and Corky the Clown. Color me shocked that West Virginia for once ends up with a decent bowl game rather than playing in the Dotson Independence Bowl in Shreveport. I must say I'm pretty excited as an employee of a company based in North Carolina who also makes substantial contributions to UNC to be possibly going to the bowl game for next to nothing at all. I have family in the Charlotte area, as well as the fact that I live less than 2 hours up the east. Can't wait to cheer on my Mountaineers from uptown. Let's go. Jordan in Vass, North Carolina. Texter, Rob from Ripley. Hello, Ripley. You're on the air. Big fan from the silent majority. Just wanted to put a shout out to the Fairplains Go-Mart and their incredible homemade pepperoni rolls. El Senatore. As a fellow Reese connoisseur, you have to try the Reese sticks. Hoppy, hoppy, hoppy. I'm efforting to get some Kirchville to the downtown Gucci Kroger's here in Ripley. My wife, Ronell, is an avid listener and Mountaineer fanatic. Celebrated 30 years of marriage. We love our Mountaineers. You guys give us a good laugh every week. Let's go. So they make it. So Go-Mart, you can just bring in, they have locally foraged pepperoni rolls there at the Fairplain Go-Mart.
Oh, nice.
Now, that rewards card you get there at Go-Mart works at any Go-Mart. You get the rewards card, you can save money on fuel and food.
I'd eat those Reese sticks. Haven't had one, but I'll eat them.
Right now, I'm so hungry.
Kit Kat to them.
Let me tell you something. Right now, I'd eat everything in that picture, including the bag, because I'm about ready to.
You hungry?
Oh. Texter, good afternoon, my friends. I need your assistance. I plan on attending the bowl game. I need to know which three guys' apparel would be most appropriate. Thanks for having us. Efforting. Quarter Zip. Also, Tony, you may recall last time I went to a game in Charlotte, I was with your esteemed honorable statistician going to see the Steelers versus the Panthers. We had a lovely conversation with you on our trip, and I requested some food recommendations for Charlotte, which our boy summarily dismissed and then fed me at the Waffle House in Statesville. With all due respect to the Waffle House, it ain't a Ruth's Chris. Any chance you can adequately shame our honorable friend into a better dining experience for this game? Signed by Jeff in Raleigh County. So he's talking about Honorable House of Delegate Jeff Campbell.
Yes.
My longtime statistician.
Yeah, but I think Soup taking him to Waffle House was a nice call.
Yeah.
Some nice food there at the Waffle House.
Good big
waffles, toast.
I think Jeff in Raleigh County maybe have been looking for a little bit something different. Soup, Honorable Soup Campbell. I mean, I wouldn't consider him. He'll never be confused with a food connoisseur. I mean, he goes for quantity, I think, rather than quality.
I mean, look, man, you're driving down the road. You're looking for a place to stop. Waffle House.
That works. I would say this. Hopefully the weather will be nice there.
Oh, yeah.
I might go the three guys quarter zip as the outer layer underneath with the thanks for having us shirt. If a win then follows, it's a great thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because you're in Charlotte. Thank everybody for having us.
Thank you.
Ends the season.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Perfect. The weather might be like
But see, that is the great double usage of thanks for having us. Because if it doesn't turn into the kind of half taunt you want to give to the visit,
right.
The thanks for having us can just be to the bowl committee is going to do a great job with hospitality.
Right.
You'll probably enjoy your time there, and you can still be a thanks for having us.
I just had another
Dual
thought.
purpose.
Yeah. January 1, 1992. The Honorable Jeff Campbell and I drove from Beckley down to the Peach Bowl. Last Peach Bowl at Fulton County Stadium, North Carolina State against East Carolina. I did the game, and the Honorable Jeff Campbell did stats.
That was a great game, if I recall.
Went that last, it was a walk-off pass, touchdown. Soup counted every Waffle House the entire trip. He could tell you to this day how many there are from Beckley to Atlanta. Just thought it just came in my mind.
Sounds like an exciting trip you all had.
Oh, it was great.
You count groundhogs too?
How about this? They gave us a bottle of peach wine.
Yeah.
The bowl committee did it for the Peach Bowl. They
Yeah.
gave us peach wine. Soup still hasn't opened his, which is now vinegar. Anyway,
Yeah, really.
this is Drew Hughes from Pratt, West Virginia. Wanted to share this artificial intelligence masterpiece. I doctored up a little. There you go. Mountaineer just taunting the North Carolina mascot. There's old Jonathan. He used Jonathan's head there on that thing. And Jonathan certainly has been on the
Been doing some curls.
been doing some curls. Last one. Ciao, amici. This will go great with a little Irish in it. Absolutely. There you have it. Hit this music, man.
Those are available for your holiday gifts, too. If you order by December 10th.
right. Coffee,
Episode800.com.
Mountaineer Munch, T-shirt, efforting stuff looks nice. All right, I don't know what we resolved, if anything, but I do know we went an hour and 33 minutes. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Did we go in
These are
on
getting awful long.
Huh?
These are getting long.
And you guys are about 75% of it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe 50%.
I'll call you later.
I'll know it's you. 3 longs and 2 shorts.
Make sure you're listening.
3 Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Go-Mart, get your rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales, take advantage of that unbelievable Tri-Tune Avalon boat special 3 Guys price. Tell them you're a 3 Guys listener, and you'll be strolling and rolling in that. And by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. That'll do it for us. Our producer, Luke Rousey. We're back Thursday to recap West Virginia Pitt, preview West Virginia and Drexel, and who else knows what will be going on by that time. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I got.
I feel like I'm aging out.
The phone thing sent you to a different, stunned me.
This might be it. This might be it.
You know what, though? It's going to work out
It might be
perfect.
it.
We're down to our final episodes anyway, so it's about ready. It's about
Age
ready
out.
to say night-night. See y'all. Be good.